Hi guys, and welcome back to another fly tying tutorial. What you see in the vise is a sedge pattern. So without further ado, let's get into it. The hook in the vise is a Hanak H230 barbless hook. This one's at size 12, it's on a medium wire and it's finished in black nickel. The thread I'm going to be using today is from Troutline. It's the Sumo thread. This is at 30 denier. So, as always with these GSP threads, we're going to get a small amount of super glue onto the shank of the hook to ensure we don't get body rotation in the fly. Now, sedges this time of year are prolific. To be honest with you, on a river, if I'm not sure what's hatching, I tend to always tie on a sedge type pattern. It's just a generic food item. It's like a cheeseburger to trout. When they're looking up, it's very difficult for them to resist a nice sedge pattern. Now there's a lot more going on with this particular pattern than you might think from the initial opening of the video there. So first thing I'm going to do is add a rib. I've got the spool here. It's 0.1 millimeters, so very thin, and I'm going to catch that in like so on my side, mostly just in open turns. Then I'll come up, leaving a couple of millimeters before the eye of the hook. The next thing I'm going to do is tie in my body, and I'm using some natural herring. Nice long fibres, very easy to create a body when you've got a long fibre to play with. So I'm just going to get rid of the tips, and then I'll tie in the entire length of the body all the way back to where my wire is, and then I can come all the way to the front, and I'm just going to get several extra turns in at the eye here. Next I'm going to grab my hackle pliers and just grab the ends of the herring, and then I can rotate my vise, avoiding the hook point, all the way up the shank. And I want to stop in plenty of time so as I'm not going to crowd out the eye when I tie in my deer hair wing. So I'm going to just secure that in there, a couple of crisscrosses just to catch it in, and then I can simply take that away. Next then we're going to add our palmerine hackling. I'm using a medium dun cape here. I've selected a feather off of the cape and I've stripped away the bottom. I'm just going to add a little bit of wax to my thread, and then I'm going to catch that in just where I've finished up the eye. I can come down quite hard using the power thread. It's fairly strong even at 30 denier. So I'll just grab my hackle. It doesn't want to be grabbed. I'll grab it again. Now what I want to do with this is the first turn is coming round upon itself virtually. So I'm getting a kind of double hackle at the front, and then I'm going to use the remaining part of the feather to palmer down the body. Now it might look fairly big this at the moment, but once I've got everything going on, you'll see that it does slick back and it doesn't look as large as it maybe currently appears. So I'll grab my silver wire rib. I can then release my hackle pliers and then concentrate on working my way back up the body. Like so. And then as I come up to where my thread is, I can catch that wire rib in. I'm going to use my fingers just to pull the hackle back out the way. And once you're content that it's in place, keeping tension on your thread, you can helicopter that wire away. Then I'll come in with my scissors like so. Now, I know it doesn't look much yet, but it is going to come good. As I say, there's no bling on this one that I'm tying, but if you want, you can tie in a hot spot at the back, pearl, red, green, whatever your poison is really, just to give it a sort of trigger. But what I like with this pattern is the fact that there isn't any of that. It just looks really natural. So what I'm going to do next is tie in my wing. Now I've already taken a little bit of my deer hair here, and what I'm using, and it's worth mentioning, is Troutline's winter deer hair. Now all deer hair is not created equal, is what I would say, and the stuff that you get from Troutline is just absolute quality. They take great care to strip out all the, as it were, as much of the gunk as they can, so when it comes to stacking, you've not got very much brushing to do to get rid of that claggy stuff that's in a lot of deer hair. So I've already got a little bit in my stacking tool, and I'm going to grab that next. Now I'll just take out any outliers, and then what I'm going to do is dress it up to the hook. Let's have a look at it. And I don't want this wing protruding past the butt of the fly really. So that looks about right to me. I can come in with my scissors and just trim that away. Next thing then is plenty of wax. You need a wax to control the deer hair. I'm going to shorten my thread up and slip it back into position. Then a sort of pinch and look over the top, and as I tighten up, you'll see the deer hair comes proud, and what I want to do is find my way through that deer hair, all the cut ends, bring it in, and slowly but surely you'll be trapping that into place. Now don't be worrying about all them extra little fibres coming forward there. I can just come in, trim them away. So it's protruding like this, and we don't want that really. So another little tip is grab your wing, and you want to collapse the deer hair just at the front there. I hope you can see that okay. And then what that'll do is it will start to make the deer hair sit nice for you. Again, it still looks a bit all over the place, but it's going to come good, trust me. So to finish off, what I do is I'm using some natural possum. This is nothing fancy, just natural grey possum, and I've already got some in my clip here. And what I want to do is open that up using a dubbing needle. Now 30 linear is quite thin, so it might just take me a moment. Well, that was quicker than I thought it would be. So we've opened up our thread, and we're going to insert a little bit of dubbing here. Then I can take that away, and what I'm going to do is give it a clockwise spin, and what that does is it closes all the strands of your GSP thread, locking that possum into place. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I've got quite a lot of possum there, more than I want. So I'm going to come in with my fingers and simply just thin it out a little bit. And I'm going to put that to the side because I'm very tight, and that can be used again. So then I can naturally bring my thread up to where the wing starts. And then what I'm going to do is carefully come back through until I get to the eye of the hook. Now I'm only going to do one more turn there. I don't want a big black thread head, so I'm going to stop there, come in with a touch of super glue, and I'm going to finish it with a 3-turn whip. But because the thread's so thin, you can barely see the head. Now, we're not finished yet. So next thing to do is just get everything sitting how it wants. So the wing just needs a little bit more encouragement to lie properly on the hook. And then I'm going to come in with my little Velcro brush here and just pull some of that possum out and through the body. And you can tie this fly in various sizes. This is a size 12, but it's tied quite short. I tie it down to size 16 and it works particularly well. As you can see, if I show you the bottom, you can see that sort of, it's given that buggy leg look. And if it's treated properly, that'll float for you all day. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.